Hey everybody, my name is Logan, and welcome back to another episode of Better History. Today we will be going over the rule of King James VI and First. Today we will specifically go over his early years, his rule over England from 1603 to 1625, how he commissioned an authorized version of the Bible in 1611, and his support of establishing the first English colony in North America in 1607. If you would like to learn more about that English colony, I have a video that I will put in the description down below. Alright, so going into his early years first. King James was born in 1566 on June 19th in Edinburgh, Scotland. King James was born to Mary Stuart, the Queen of Scots, and her second husband, Lord Darnley. Now, King James was an only child, which helped him when Queen Mary was forced to abdicate for her throne due to controversy. And since James was an only child, they left him as the only successor of the crown at 13 months old in 1567. He ruled Scotland with help from regents until he was old enough to rule on his own. Now, during this time, he was known as King James VI due to being the sixth James on the throne. James faced struggle like religious conflicts between Protestant and Catholics and opposition from powerful nobles. King James was known as the first powerful monarch in the Stuart dynasty. King James was crowned on July 24th of 1603, and this started his rule of England. He was the one crowned to be the new King of England due to the fact that he was the closest living relative to Queen Elizabeth I at the time of her passing. King James I was a firm believer in the divine right of kings, making monarchy only answerable to God. King James believed that kings were chosen by God to rule with absolute power. That belief put him at odds with the raising power of Parliament. Parliament is basically like the three branches that the United States government has. King James was known to love music and poetry, and he was very open about it. He gave a lot of money to poets and musicians, which is very interesting. King James loved peace and constantly claimed neutrality during conflicts that beset Europe. King James presided over the famous Hampton Court Conference in 1604, which attempted to reconcile the Puritan factions in the Church of England. This conference was called to address the religious conflicts in England. King James I also authorized the first translation of the Bible into English, making it the most widely used translation to this day. This had an impact of the development of Christianity in the English-speaking world. In 1607, King James commissioned a new flag for all ships, which is known as the Union Jack. This referenced King James' preference for his French namesake, Jacques. King James also conducted several witch hunts personally during his reign over England, meaning he personally was like, hey guys, let's go and kill some witches. I'll tell you where to go and you follow me. He persecuted suspected witches, which led to many innocent deaths, and this was a very dark chapter in English history. King James was a keen hunter and spent most of his time at his country estates, like Theobald's in Hertfordshire. James faced many threats to his rule, like the gunpowder plot of 1605. Now, the gunpowder plot was a failed assassination attempt by Guy Fawkes and other Catholic conspirators who sought to kill James and blow up the Houses of Parliament with 36 barrels of gunpowder. This plot was discovered before it was carried out, and the conspirators were hung and tortured. King James was also confronted with religious tolerance, particularly towards Catholics. He believed in religious freedom and was actually against the persecution of Catholics, but he wanted to withhold the Protestant establishment in England. James was a shrewd politician and worked to maintain good relations with other European powers, specifically Spain and France, because we don't want another war breaking out, right? He saw himself as a peacemaker and was often called upon to mediate disputes between other European powers. Now we're going to get into the colonization of North America. James sought to expand England's influence overseas to the Americas. King James' reign saw the colonization of America by the English, with the establishment of colonies like Jamestown in Virginia and Cooper's Cove in Newfoundland. The colonies were built mainly for economic reasons. The colonization had a major impact on the indigenous population, leading to many conflicts. I'm not going to go too far into the colonization since I already did a video on it. Once again, check that out. It's a decent video. Now we're going to move on to Puritans. James was known for his love and peace, but his reign saw the persecution of dissenters, particularly the Puritans. Puritans were opposed to many of the practices of the Church of England. They were subjected to harassment and persecution. James I worked to suppress their activities because they seemed a threat to the stability of the realm. Moving on, which this have some interesting topics, so be aware. King James I's reign was marked by the rise of powerful ministers, particularly Robert Cecil, first of Salisbury, Robert Carr, first Earl of Somerset, and George Villiers, first Duke of Buckingham. These ministers helped shape James' policies, particularly with regard to foreign affairs and religion. Now, here's something pretty interesting that I didn't know. There was many speculation that James was a homosexual, or if you don't speak big words, that means you like guys. You like boys. And he had several male lovers, including Robert Carr and George Villiers, the two ministers that I named up there. Maybe or maybe not, that's why they got the job, but we'll never know. Anyway, although there was speculation, James did take a severe public stance against sodomy, which is anal or oral sex, and he stated that it was a horrible crime which ye are bound in conscience never to forgive. Now, here we are at the end. I got two more things for you guys. King James died on March 27, 1625, and was succeeded by his son, Charles I. James' reign brought significant political and social changes, including the colonization of America, the rise of religious dissent, and the growth of parliamentary power, due to the fact that he was all power to one king and that's it. That made Parliament stronger and make Britain a better place. James was also important to arts and literature, and he flowered the English culture. That's all I got for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, let me know. Like, subscribe, follow, all that stuff. Comment what you liked and what you didn't like. I have the colonization video down below. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and see you guys later.